I reckon mushrooms will be off the menu for a lot of people.
For most people, yes. This deadly shroom story that's broken the internet has taken another interesting twist. You probably know the Victorian woman Erin Patterson held a lavish lunch for her former in-laws, which didn't end well. 3 of her guests subsequently died and one got very, very sick. Gail and Don Patterson and Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson are no longer with us, and Heather's husband Ian Wilkinson is fighting for life and needs a liver transplant. That all transpired after they ate a mushroom dish at Erin's house in Victoria's Gippsland region on July 29. It's now emerged that Erin's ex, who lost his whole family basically, nearly died from a stomach complaint last year. Simon Patterson says he spent 21 days in ICU. I collapsed at home, then was in an induced coma for 16 days, through which I had 3 emergency operations, mainly on my small intestine, he says. Now, Erin says she hasn't done anything wrong, and our lawyers would rather eat a mushroom omelette prepared by her than have us suggest otherwise.
Would you like a mushroom? No, I don't think so.
The revelation about Simon's mystery illness comes as the cops forensically test a food dehydrator they reckon was used to prepare the mushrooms at the heart of the police investigation. They say they found said dehydrator at a tip.
The whole of Australia is following this
Pushing
case.
a lot of other news down the page. One such story concerns Duncraig alumni Melanie Perkins, whose company Canva, we've just found out, survived COVID and is still in good shape.
Oh, the thrill of you never will cease.
The graphic design for dummy software she created with partner Cliff Obrecht and Cameron Adams has just been revalued, the first time that's happened since we heard there was a place called Wuhan. Canva is a private company with few shareholders, so it's difficult to know what it's actually worth.
Because it's not listed on the stock exchange.
Yet, but yes, at the moment its shares aren't traded day to day. We only get an idea of its market worth when one of those big private shareholders changed their position, and that hasn't happened for 2 years. Investment firm Blackbird has just sold 3% of its holding for $150 million. That has given analysts a firm figure to do some maths, and they've worked out that Canva is now worth 39 billion Australian dollars. We've been waiting for a share sale like Blackbird's for some time because it's the first time we've got a no bullshit assessment of Canva's worth in a post-COVID world. It's down 1/3 since September 2021, which is bad, but not as bad as the performance of a lot of other tech firms in the same period.
Who bought Blackbird's shares?
Well, this is the interesting bit. One of the buyers was a company called Iconic Capital, which acts as financial advisor/investor to Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey. So 2 of the world's biggest names in business reckon Melanie, Cliff and Cameron are really onto something.
Chevron might need revaluing soon.
Workers at 2 of the biggest industrial developments in the world could down tools.
So we'll march day and night by the big cooling tower. They have the plans, but we have the power.
Chevron's gigantic LNG plants in the Pilbara are set to be ground zero for a big IR shit fight. The Offshore Alliance, which comprises the Australian Workers Union and the Maritime Union of Australia, have applied to the Fair Work Commission to ballot workers. That's the first step on the road to a strike, which we all know is a pastime of which the MUA is particularly fond because it means it can practice its singing. A full strike is unlikely, but there are other ways the unions can cripple production, and believe me, the MUA and the AWU know every dirty trick in the book, so Chevron's got some problems ahead of it. The Chevron action comes as workers on Woodside's offshore platforms work out whether they're going to go on strike. Staff on the North Rankin, Goodwin and Angel platforms are voting on whether they'll down tools. That will cause dramas at the North West Shelf project, which those platforms supply. It could mean that production at 3 of WA's onshore LNG processing plants, we've only got 4 of them, are disrupted at a time we're more reliant on gas than ever because we're trying to stop using as much coal and oil to keep the lights on.
That isn't going to work, dingus.
The fossil fuel industry, which likes to call itself the energy industry because it sounds nicer, knows there's a lot at stake here. When the Offshore Alliance went to war with Shell last year, the Prelude floating LNG vessel was shut down completely. That cost Shell an estimated $1.5 billion in lost revenue. It's a lot of lost gas. I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.